You're watching CW Montana. This is the MTN 9 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on this Friday. I'm Andrea Lutz. Coming up tonight, medical marijuana. It's a big topic of discussion at the Montana legislature today. We'll tell you why there's a disagreement within the industry on how it should be regulated. Also tonight, a company that recovers waste rock from minerals at the mine in Anaconda gets shut down. Find out why the health of employees is at the forefront. But first, 7 people are injured after a ski bus collides with a semi-truck this morning on the way to Big Sky Ski Resort. The crash caused road delays and sent a wave of panic to those on board that bus. MTN's Carson Vickroy was at the scene of the crash, and he joins us with more. Carson.
Thank you, Andrea. A crash this morning caused some havoc in Big Sky. Here's more. It hasn't been the best of mornings here in Big Sky, where behind me a truck collided with a bus, which is disrupting travel and caused a few injuries. The accident occurred at approximately 8:51 this morning at the intersection of Little Coyote Road and Lone Mountain Trail when a flatbed truck collided with a Big Sky Skyline bus. 6 passengers and the bus driver were reported to be injured.
I think the worst we've seen is broken bones from it, but all were transported to Big Sky Medical Center.
Montana Highway Patrol, Big Sky Fire Department, and the Gallatin County Sheriff's Office all responded to the accident.
We've been trying to move traffic as best as possible, and we appreciate everyone's patience with that process.
The good news is crews will have this mess cleaned up by this weekend, which means if you're going skiing, you're not going to see any travel impacts from this crash. And the cause of that crash is still under investigation. Andrea?
All right, thanks, Carson. Some sad news to report tonight, also out of Big Sky. A 9-year-old boy from Massachusetts was found dead on the ski hill after crashing into a tree. The Gallatin County Sheriff's Office says the boy was reported missing on Tuesday at the junction of Middle Road and Lobo Ski Run. Searchers found his body in a tree well. That's where officials say he died of blunt force trauma after hitting that tree. In Anaconda, U.S. Minerals has closed its doors after arsenic exposure was reported at the plant. The facility disposes of waste rock from the Anaconda mine. MTN's John Amy tells us how the state stepped in to shut it down.
The state's Department of Health and Human Services closed down the U.S. Minerals plant off of Highway 1 near Anaconda this week after several employees tested for high levels of inorganic arsenic in their systems. The U.S. Minerals plant crushes slag from these piles to make roofing granules and other abrasives. Back in April, some employees were found with high levels of arsenic in their urine. Since then, more employees have been found with inorganic arsenic in their systems. Long exposure to arsenic can cause skin irritations and even cancer. The health department sent a cease and desist letter to the plant this week and are working through legal channels to close it down. I spoke with officials from the U.S. Minerals headquarters in Illinois. They said they are aware of the plant closure here in Anaconda, but had no comment on the situation. In Anaconda, John Amy, MTN News.
And health officials said there were 6 employees who worked at this plant. All but 1 tested positive for arsenic exposure. More information tonight on human remains found on the Blackfeet Reservation back in December. The FBI said those remains belong to a middle-aged Native American man. The FBI says scientific data collected from the site and then analyzed suggests the remains are of an ancient origin. Investigators also believe the remains are those of a Native American man between the ages of 45 and 60. The remains will be returned to the Blackfeet Tribal Historic Preservation Office. A 12-year-old boy is charged in the attempted homicide of 5 of his family members. This after starting a fire at his home back in September. The boy pled not guilty to those charges in youth court. The fire broke out on Yellowstone Avenue. It sent 6 people to the hospital. 9-year-old boy even was flown to Utah for burn injuries. The boy now will stay in youth custody, but his next court date is not yet set. The former keyboardist for John Mellencamp is sentenced to 10 years in prison for watching child pornography on a bus traveling across Montana. 67-year-old Eric Rosser pled guilty to charges in October for that incident that happened in 2017. Rosser was traveling Interstate 90 to Butte when a fellow passenger noticed him watching child pornography on a laptop. The passenger approached him about it, and he admitted he had a problem right then. Police greeted Rosser at a bus station in Billings. According to the New York Post, Rosser was the first fugitive on the FBI's most wanted list for child pornography. At the Montana legislature, a bill to revamp the regulation of Montana's medical marijuana heard plenty of disagreement today. The bill proposes tightening regulations on marijuana testing labs. The sponsor of the bill says it also creates a tiered licensing system so that smaller providers pay minimum fees and larger ones pay more. But opponents, including testing lab owners, called the bill a solution in the search of a problem.
This particular bill, it's too much too soon after last year's major changes. The system needs a chance to work, and if we need to tweak aspects of it, I think we can do that in a compassionate, consensus-oriented manner.
And as you know, medical marijuana reform passed 2 years ago. It was done so by a ballot initiative. Carroll College leaders are detailing cuts to programs as part of what they're calling a historic plan for growth. MTN's John and Barium takes us closer to those changes, a closer look at the impact to students as well.
On Friday afternoon, Carroll College's Board of Trustees wrapped up a two-day meeting in Helena. Trustees unanimously approved a set of recommendations for program reorganizations, including some cuts. Carroll President John Seck made the recommendations after a months-long look at program prioritization.
It's really about positioning us for success in the future.
The college will eliminate 5 academic majors: classical studies, ethics and values studies, engineering science, environmental outreach and interpretation, and environmental policy and project management. 3 other majors will be restructured: public relations, environmental science, and secondary education. 10 minors will be discontinued, as well as 4 certificates or associate degrees. The program changes will take place over the next 3 years. Seck said they will affect about 39 freshmen and sophomores and 39 juniors.
We will begin immediately with the programs that are going to be sunsetted, contacting the students and assuring the students that anyone who has declared a major in these programs or a minor will be able to complete them.
As part of the restructuring, 8 non-tenured faculty positions and 7 other staff positions will be eliminated.
We're working with everyone involved in a very compassionate and caring way to help them with that transition as it takes place.
Seck also recommended expanding graduate and professional programs, including the creation of a School of Professional and Graduate Studies. Leaders will also explore expanding pre-medicine and nursing and into areas like social work or genetic counseling. Monsignor Kevin O'Neill, the board's chair, said they're thankful for the input they've received throughout the process from Carroll students, faculty, and staff.
I would just like to express my gratitude on behalf of the Board of Trustees to all who made this such a fruitful labor of stewardship.
In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
And any students currently in a program that's discontinued will be assigned a special advisor, and then that person will help them get the guidance they need so that they can still graduate on time. It was an exciting day for the Lockwood community as they dig into the future of education. Today, hundreds of people came out to kick off the building of Lockwood's multi-million-dollar high school. And the doors won't officially open until 2021, but folks call this groundbreaking a monumental day for the community and a dream since the 1950s. Superintendent Tobin Navasio says the new school can now offer many extracurriculars.
Research on dropouts talks about the more stuff that kids are involved in, the less likely they are to drop out. And so that's what this is really all about. But it's also that giving our community that rallying point of pride.
And even if you don't live in Lockwood, your student can still attend this new high school when it opens. There is, of course, an application process to make that happen. When 3 mountain lion cubs were suddenly orphaned in Wyoming, Yellowstone Wildlife Sanctuary and Red Lodge stepped up to save their lives. MTN's Jenny Fick tells us what's next for these 3 quickly growing cats.
With these mountain lion cubs that came in here, this is one of the few cases we do where we've taken in animals that we know we can't keep because we know of another sanctuary, Shambhala in Southern California, that can keep these cats and take care of them.
Shambhala in Sanskrit means a meeting place of peace and harmony for all beings, animal and human. The preserve is home to more than 40 big cats and will be a place where the cubs can live out the rest of their days.
Well, we have a dual mission. Our mission is to provide lifelong sanctuary for animals that can't be released into the wild, but also education. So the animals that come here that would otherwise have not been able to survive can also help us to teach people about animals, to teach people about why wild animals do need to stay wild, why they don't make good pets, and about the amazing animals we share this ecosystem with.
In Billings, Jenny Fitt, MTN News.
That video is so good of those cubs. Well, the cubs are going to need some transportation to that sanctuary in California. And of course, the sanctuary here is a nonprofit, so it is funded through donations and grants. Well, the Historical Museum at Fort Missoula is set to open a new exhibit dedicated to the Vietnam War. So coming up, we're going to take a look at that very conflict, but through the eyes of a Frenchtown Marine. And after the break, Bob McGuire looks ahead to the weekend in his statewide weather forecast. We'll be right back.